providers or technology provider, but we just need standardization. How will the claims be exchanged? You know, are they going to have to do multiple integration connection? Because at the end of the day, why should they be submitting those claims that you've captured in a paper format to an HMO that has to pay back? So we're looking at it from a macro perspective, that for there to be significant uptake in everything we're trying to do, it's not just selling your solution. If you sell your solution and there's no standardization, you're going to be getting kickbacks from different entities trying to use that particular system. So part of what we'll be trying to do is working with some Accenture and some of the other consultants. How can there be some sort of a framework so that way you can use different platforms? Today in banks, different banks use different core banking applications, but every time you go to an ATM, you get the same response code. Either you don't have sufficient funds, expired cards. We don't have that right now, and that for us is one of the key areas we need to really see what we can do to actually ensure it's there, because we see significant activities. The other day I told someone in our product team to run me some reports. When I saw how much was being collected on our platform in the health space, with little even penetration, I was surprised that people spend this much money on healthcare. People are actually spending the money. Let's even talk about from the federal and state. I know in the earlier session, Dr. Ared referred to Kwara as those areas, but in Lagos State, people are spending significant amount of money. If you go to Gobi Hospital, the amount of money they collect before they even admit you and start treating you is significant. And what they're trying to do is automate and do so many things around the processes. So having said that, I'd like to end at this point. Thank you.
Now we'll be talking about the future of mobile payments in Nigeria, and that's what Mr. Ashiru has just tried to elucidate us on, but he's overwhelmed by the challenges of the healthcare sector, a very beautiful sector called the healthcare sector. So he's struggling to make a constructive criticism of the sector without sounding too pessimistic. The other end of it is we're asking ourselves the questions, will mobile payments catch up? What's the future of mobile payments in Nigeria? You're right there in the thick of mobile payments. Do you believe, looking at the future of mobile payments in Nigeria as a form of technological impact, do you believe that over the next 5, 10 years, there's a future for mobile payments, or are we going to remain at this, just mundane, simple level of operations that we currently are right now?
I see mobile payment or mobile money in Nigeria. There's a future in it, and I believe strongly because I've been to so many states in Nigeria to work on mobile payment, mobile money. I went to Kwara State to go and research on what you guys have done with IGA, and I think it's really effective. Though we have some constraints in Nigeria, and number one is literacy issue. Number two is the cost of using mobile money platform, because not all Nigerians can afford a smartphone. So the only other alternative is a USSD or Symbian application. But USSD is very expensive for those people that we call the unbanked, because primarily they cannot maintain that account for so many reasons, but most importantly because they cannot afford the cost of maintaining current account or savings account. And having mobile money, your phone number is your account, so you basically little to nothing in terms of maintenance. So, but I see positive future in mobile money. One, we just deployed a solution on our platform now, and I'm sure some of the mobile payments or mobile money operators are doing the same thing. We have what we call cardless withdrawal. Initially, when they send money to you, if you can't find an agent, that means you cannot cash out the money. Now, with cardless ATM withdrawal, they can send money to you. There's a code. You go into the ATM, enter the code, and you withdraw the cash. And last year, I went to Vegas for a mobile payment conference. And when I displayed our product to most of the participants, they asked me, what am I doing here? because the EMV, the USSD, they're just catching up even in the United States of America. So most importantly, the problem we have to tackle in Nigeria is the issue of telco. The cost of USSD averagely now is about 10 naira. And when the session ends without completing the transaction, you have to do it again and you have to pay again. So maybe we have to look at NCC relationship with telcos to address that issue. But most importantly, people that are using mobile money, they're enjoying it, and it's fantastic. You can send money anywhere, you can do whatever transaction you decide to do. In terms of technology, we have it, and we can also, some of the areas that felt has also participated, we participated with PharmAccess to do a pilot at Makoko for using a mobile wallet to pay for pharmaceutical services. It was a great success, and now I think we're going into second phase of the pilot now.
Thank you very much. Something key that you mentioned is NCC. Do we have anybody from NCC here? I don't think so. But yes, we're going to give you that question. That what is the regulatory framework that exists? What are the governance and liquidity rules that affect or cover this traditional or emerging payment systems? Give us an idea of what this is all about, Mr. Oshilaja.
We provide a pipeline for mobile money operators to run their business, and we also have some strategic partnership. Currently we have a strategic partnership with Access Bank on Access Money powered by Airtel, which is a mobile money solution being used by UN World Food Program to provide grants to the IDPs in Borno and Yobe. But coming back to mobile payments, definitely there's a future, but for the entrepreneurs in the house, I want us to think about mobile payments beyond mobile money. The Central Bank of Nigeria has also allowed for banks to be able to open tier 1 accounts, where basically down on the short code based on USSD format or app, you can extract the KYC data, and a bank account number, 10-digit NIBAN is generated on tier 1 account. So that is available. You also have direct operator billing. With the Central Bank of Nigeria, right now it's not officially approved that, but in other countries you see situations whereby people can pay for services or goods using the airtime. However, in the interim of payment, that what I suggest is that you package your products or services in form of value-added services. So when it comes in form of a bundle, you can have monthly or periodic airtime deduction to pay for those services without contravening the CBN policy on airtime as a currency. I do agree with Ari on some of the illnesses of mobile money adoption, by strongly, stay more strongly on the side of Ashimo, reasoning that the agent network needs focus. What you see is that a lot of the MMOs have not really invested with rigor in recruiting agents, developing them, and taking them through that journey whereby at arm's reach, you won't be able to get an agent. On regulation, I think the CBN, Nigeria is one of the most regulated economies financially in Africa. So even some things that can be done in East Africa, you can't get to do in Nigeria, but it's okay. The regulation safeguards the customers or the consumers, while for the players, we can always engage their regular CBN parties and stakeholder parties to influence changes. Like the tier 1 account, which is based on KYC, was influenced by stakeholders, and now you see some banks like GT Bank with their star 737 hash, and on mobile money specifically, while the operators have a good liquidity position, the agents out on the field do not have the right liquidity. But I know there's some work in progress whereby agents will start having loans. So when you get to an agent, if the agent doesn't have the money, he or she can apply for a loan immediately, and that gets covered. But overall, with the CBN increasing the capital base of MMOs to 2 billion naira, I think it's also giving confidence to all the players that Nigerian MMOs are strong and are here for the long term. I think that will be from July, the new capitalization. So mobile money is here to stay. It might not go as rapid as M-Pesa in Kenya. When M-Pesa launched in Kenya, the banks there were not strong, or the banks there are still not strong. So they have that first mover advantage. But here there's a need, even though the banks are there, the banks we have cannot provide some services to the lower end side of the market. And that's where mobile money operators will play. Thank you.
I take this mobile payment or mobile money solution very seriously, because when you travel by road in Nigeria, you will know our people very well. You relate with them. You know what they can afford. And most of the time we throw figures around and say an average Nigerian lives on $1 a day. It is real. When you travel between Oyo to Omasho, or when you travel between Omuaran to Adashe-Igbo, you will see our people are being there by road. Our people cannot afford USSD or smartphone. So, but a lot of companies, they are developing so many platforms to make it cheaper. But if we do not address it, CBN and NCC, they are not on the road. If we do not address this issue, there will be continuous hindrance on mobile money. Right now, the gentleman from Airtel mentioned about agent recruitment. CBN said that if I spend 50 million naira, 100 million naira, 200 million naira to recruit agents nationwide, I do not have the total right for that agent. So another company can come and use that same agent. Meanwhile, it is Feds that spend that money. So now, what, in my own opinion, what I think the NCC should do, that this is a new sector in our economy. They should be the one to drive orientation and things of that nature. And then if a mobile money company recruit their agent, they should have the right to that agent because they have spent money on it. The system already is interoperable. So if you recruit agent from company A and company B also recruit agent, they can still do business together. But if I spend 200 million to do agent level, you know very well. I think we work together on one Coca-Cola project. It is expensive to recruit agents, and sometimes, like the agent that we use for farming, we do 80% of farming business in Nigeria. The agent, sometimes we have to give them loans, but they don't have money. Majority of these graduates, even when we tell them to come and do training, there was a time we did a training, it cost 50,000. When we reduced it to 15,000 naira, they don't have it. So the cost of using USSD, no matter how you package the value added service, the agents, they have to make money. And again, CBN also capped the commission that each mobile money can charge. So as an entrepreneur, you look at it, is it worth it for me? So when we have a free market, then this thing can move faster.
Yeah, thank you very much for your comments so far. I'd like to, at this point, throw it back to the audience. I'm going to take 2 questions from the audience, and my questions already have specific people that I want to direct them to now. The reason why I'm doing this is because we need to get feedback from both the providers that are managing the end users here on their own take on how much technology has really had some impact in what they're doing. I'm going back to my panelists. and I'm going to ask Dr. Adeyemi, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Now, in your own system, in your whole operational system, how have you seen two aspects? The use of technology as a direct means of direct application to your healthcare delivery system. How much of technology have you used? What are the different platforms that you've been able to? And I don't want an explanation. I just want you to be able to tell me what you've used to be able to optimize your healthcare delivery system. That's one. Two, do you have any experience on mobile payments? Have you used it? Do you have POS? What are the forms of, how has this mobile payment structure, how has it been able to assist you in your care delivery system?
The first question, in terms of the impact and input of technology on costs, from our perspective, one of the highest areas of cost in our facility, aside from payroll, is supply chain. What we have done is I got a group of very young, idealistic, policy computing, fresh graduates, guys, and really built out for them a scope of how they can put together a solution to really analyze our cost on the supply chain. It's an in-house development platform. It's on a very, very small scale. It's been in operation now for about 3 years, and our costs have gone down about 60%. 60. When you look at product development and you look at technology development, firstly you've got to understand what problem you're trying to solve. I happen to have some background in product management as well in my earlier life, so I was able to develop a scope for them. I was feeling the pains, and these guys put together the code and delivered a solution for them. Previously, we had our pharmacists running our supply chain. Right now, the pharmacist is involved, but we have data analysts and these technology guys being able to put together a platform which is taking cost down. So from our perspective, that has been the biggest impact from a technology standpoint. That's the first thing. Secondly, in terms of the use of technology, yes, there's a high use of technology in our facility, mobile money, naturally you have the POS, and currently there's a pilot we're running right now with PharmAccess and the use of mobile money as well, and that is, it's getting good traction.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Adekun Ajiboye, CEO at PharmAccess. 3 quick comments, picking up from Mr. Ashiru for the healthcare industry. So standards and interoperability is a big thing. We need that, but we should also look at having our healthcare institutions share patient records. If we don't have that, it's going to be a big limitation for us. Picking up on mobile money. Mobile money should be for cashless. So until I can say I want to pay for a transaction, I want to buy a newspaper, I want to pay for my coffee, there doesn't always have to be a need to cash out.